And actually, there, I just realized how it's important to understand all these migration issues. It's really complicated to get a clear information. Well, let's say even about the list of documents that you need for temporary or a permanent residence permanent citizenship. So you may just ask, feel free to ask questions in our Telegram chat, or you can just, send me a message to Telegram, WhatsApp, just asking your question. Because again, it's totally free of charge. We would love to just help you.
We manage our clients from start to finish, and we're in for the whole process.
Please bear in mind that if you would get 2 fines, administrative fines, this is the legal ground to cancel your residency or just, refuse to accept your documents. We are control freaks in a good way.
In the best way.
Yeah. So,
welcome everybody to another video of Braiden Consulting, and today we finally have Michael, our salesperson, in the studio. Hi, Michael.
Hello,
it's great
Ivanna.
to see you. This is what Michael will talk about in the video. So, his role in the company, important things to consider when moving to Russia and the challenges one might face, problems people encounter when doing residency here and how to avoid them, and at the end, find some lifestyle recommendations.
Thanks a lot for having me. Well, lots of questions, right? Let's start from the very beginning. Back in 2019, we've started the International Department here with our boss Roman. And I was the only one, starting from the very beginning, from the scratch. So the idea is that I just came back from the Netherlands. There I studied for my master's degree in European law. And actually there, I just realized how it's important to understand all these migration issues, right? If you would like to continue your life in another country. So yeah, I just realized that I really want to help foreign citizens here in Russia, because, well, the main point here is it's really complicated to get a clear information. Well, let's say even about the list of documents that you need for temporary or a permanent residence permanent citizenship, even in Russian language. So
Yeah.
we're not even talking about like English, right, or like French or German. First, we thought that we would help business, but then we realized actually that we want to help people, and this is my I would say main purpose. My main goal is to help people first, actually to understand what do they actually need in order to apply for any sort of residency. This is my role even today in this company. So we provide free consultations. So you may just feel free to ask questions in our Telegram chat, or you can just, send me a message to Telegram, WhatsApp, just asking your question. Because again, it's totally free of charge. We would love to just help you. If there is a certain legal ground for any type of residency, let's say, of course, we will be happy to help you, to accompany through all the stages of collection, preparation documents, so you will be accepted for your residency here in Russia. So we work from 9 to 6, okay? But the idea is that when I need to provide a consultation to citizens from US, Canada, Australia, of course, I would appoint this consultation later than 6 o'clock, so that's obviously, this is our job, this is our mission. However, so yeah, about the submission day, right? Because guys, this is the most important day in your legal life here in Russia. So I'm just trying to say that when we start working together with clients, we create, after signing the contract, we create a work group chat with my colleagues, lawyers. And so these guys will take care of your case, right? If we're talking about Moscow, let's imagine that you have a full set of documents, right? Then we need to upload these documents to the official website, Sakharov Migration Center, to get a certain appointment date. So let's say if that would be like Saturday or Sunday, no worries, of course, one of my colleagues will be in touch with you at the submission day. Let's say you're about to apply for the temporary residence permit on the ground of shared values, right? As you may know, and you should know about it, you don't need to pass Russian language, history, and legislation exam. And actually, we hope that a certain inspector also, consider this, right? So they should not ask questions in Russian language because you may not
Yeah.
know any Russian word, right? But they do ask questions, basic ones, but still, right? So you could just answer "да", "нет" or "я не знаю," and that's when my colleagues can actually help. They're online, so no worries here. Unfortunately, we cannot go with our clients inside the building, inside the migration authority. It's against the law, so only spouse can go there. So that's why we're in touch. So no worries here.
So, what are the important things to consider when moving to Russia and the challenges one might face?
When we have the initial call, right, the first conversation, I usually ask like, have you ever been to Russia before, right? Because if, well, let's say you're a US citizen and only you guys can get a 3-year tourist visa. If you've already been here, you know that, let's say at the passport control, you'll begin with a little piece of paper, migration card, that you need to do the registration, which is very important within 7 business days after your arrival. If, let's say, someone wants to relocate to Russia, and that would be their first trip ever, then we should talk about different obstacles, rules, so not to break the law.
Yeah, what to do and what not.
Yeah, because please bear in mind that if you would get 2 fines, administrative fines, this is the legal ground to cancel your residency or just refuse to accept your documents. So these violations are linked to the violation of migration legislation. Let's say not having a registration. Right?
Yeah.
First, let's have a talk. Right? Let's
Yeah.
just discuss your plans here. Because let's say, okay, you're a family, 3 kids, right? You're about to relocate to Russia, and with temporary residence permit, you have to understand where would you like to live in Russia for at least like 3 years, because the temporary residence permit is issued for 3 years, and its nature that it's issued for a certain region, for a certain subject of Russia, because in Russia we have different regions, right? Funny thing is that Moscow and St. Petersburg are different regions, so they're cities and also regions as well,
Yeah.
right? So if you've never been before in Russia, maybe it's just better to first make a first visit, just to look around. Russia is the biggest country in the world. I mean, it's just huge, beautiful place, and maybe you would like to visit different cities. Obviously Moscow, St. Petersburg, maybe Krasnodar, Sochi, like south, or maybe Siberia, because we have our clients apply in different regions of Russia.
And we're able to assist everywhere.
Yeah, because actually for us it doesn't even matter. I mean, what would be your place of submission and eventually place of your stay? Because again, we provide our service in this work group chat, in this personal group chat. The only difference is that if you would apply in Moscow, then my colleague can go with you to a medical center to pass the medical exams, because the rest of legal actions are actually online, right? So we'll just tell you what to do, where to go. I always say that we are control freaks in a good way.
In the best way.
Yeah. So, because we need to control every step. First, decide where you want to live. Let's say you know Russian language, right? Because again, for the temporary residence permit, you don't need to pass this exam, but for the VNJ, for a permanent residence permit, you have to pass this Russian language, history, and legislation exam. So the idea is that your family will, live in Moscow, let's say. So you'll get your temporary residence permit in Moscow. Then after 8 months of holding this temporary residence permit, automatically you get the right to apply for the permanent residence permit. Okay, you'll pass this exam. After 4 months, you'll get your VNJ, so that makes like 1 year in Moscow. And after you get your VNJ, you can change your region, you can change your location. Actually, I think that this is a nice time that you can just spend here, understand all the nuances, and then if you want to change your region, okay, you can do that. About documents, let's get back to legal stuff, right? When you're about to leave your country, your home country, for the temporary residence permit, we actually need only 2 documents. Visa, valid visa.
Number 1.
Yeah, and secondly, police clearance certificate with apostille.
Number 2.
That's it. If we're talking about families, well, it's better to put the apostille also on birth certificates of your children and on your marriage certificate. We don't need actually these documents for the procedure, but it's just better to do it since you're there. Let's imagine that you would like to get a shared values visa. It's a single entry visa, valid for 90 days. Okay. In order to get this visa, you need to fill out the online application form, and there actually you can indicate the desired entry date. So that means that you can get stamped with a visa today, but the entry date may be like September, October. So you could plan, right?
Yeah.
It's a single entry, so you can make only one entry. And also, the police clearance certificate is valid for 90 days as well. Now, 90 days starts from the date of its production, not from the date of getting the apostille, for example. So please consider this. You know, if you would ask me about the issues, problems, well, deadlines,
Yeah, that's
timelines. So we should be really careful with them, because well, let me just give you an example. You're here in, let's say, in Moscow, right? We need a certain time to collect and prepare the needed documents for the temporary presence permit. Medical documents, we need some time to fill out the main document, which is temporary residence permit application form. You need some time to make the registration. So it takes, let's say, around 3 weeks, something like this, okay? When we'll finally have all the documents, we'll upload them on the official website. And normally, the nearest possible date to submit your documents will be like in 3-4 weeks. So that already makes like 2 months at least. So this 90 days valid period of this visa, so within this time frame, we have to submit our documents. So this is what we need to do. Because then, when you get accepted, they will give you the acceptance letter, and you have 2 options. You can exit Russia and wait outside for the 3-4 months period, or you can stay here by getting a so-called waiting visa. So no worries that the visa term is 90 days and the conservation period is 4 months. So it's totally fine. Again, please plan your actions ahead. Right? This is the most important part. And that's why we actually usually recommend, if you would like to work with us, well, let's start working together while you're still in your home country. You didn't, do any legal actions. So we would control every step.
So other than deadlines and planning, what is the other purpose of Braiden Consulting? What I think is that it's really important to understand that we, as those who work in Russia and kind of can navigate the local issues such as bureaucracy, we can also be aware, and we are aware, of specific requirements and the mistakes that migration authorities and other authorities can sometimes make due to various reasons, but we're the ones who can predict them and actually be aware and actually tell you guys how to navigate and how to avoid them. Double check everything, as Michael says, triple check everything. And of course, this is not, self-advertising is not really the thing, but actually this is what happens. This is the real cases where we get papers with typos and you have to redo the whole thing over again. Again, this is something that we take care of, and what Michael talks about a lot in other videos.
Yeah, exact wording. Like when we're talking about like temporary residence permit application form or medical documents, like your full name must match everywhere. However, according to Russian legislation, you may have up to 2-3 mistakes in your visa. Again, we should be very careful with any word. I mean, again, typos, misspelling. I mean, the thing is that, and I usually say that we can say that they actually make the decision at the submission date. So that's why they're so serious at the at that date, right? So they check every page, translations. Oh my! So everything should be in a perfect shape. If they would find any tiny error, typo, right, in one of the documents, and especially when we're talking about families, kids, okay, birth certificates. Whoa! So they would immediately refuse an acceptance. And remember that you have only 90 days to be accepted. Okay? This is the thing.
So what is this TRP on the shared values visa? Which countries does this apply to?
There is a certain list of so-called unfriendly countries. So you can check this list in our Telegram chat. Just type in the search field list of unfriendly countries, something like this. Yeah. So you would find this list if you're a citizen of this country. By the way, if you have 2 citizenships, all right, 3 citizenships, doesn't matter. So we should use only one passport where you are actually, because you'll get your visa there, right, at the consulate service of Russia. And by the way, we have clients, I would say from every country from this list. No, actually not.
Almost.
No, almost. Because recently we had some clients from South Korea, Taiwan. So, I mean, if you're a citizen of this country, then you have this right to apply for the temporary residence permit. Actually, I can say that it's even if you share these values, okay?
Yeah.
The most important part. And I would say that right now, it's even easier to apply for the temporary residence permit being a citizen of an unfriendly country than if you're from friendly country. I would say more that, let's say you're from South Africa, right? Argentina, Brazil, these are friendly countries. These people also share traditional and family values, but they cannot use this decree because the 702 decree is it's all about unfriendly countries. So basically, as far as I understand, we want to help these people to relocate here in Russia, to live here, right? I do believe that these people from friendly countries, they also share these values. And okay, you are a citizen of Brazil, right? If you're not married to a Russian citizen, if you don't have Russian children, then, so we have like general and simplified procedure of applying for the residency. General procedure is through the quota. A quota is kind of a lottery, okay? So you can apply for a quota every month, trying to win it. If you win it, you'll get the right to apply for the temporary residence permit, but you have to pass the Russian language, history, and legislation exam. But we have a visa-free regime with Argentina, Brazil, South Africa, right? So that means that they cannot get let's say, a tourist visa. And in order to apply for a quota, you need to have any type of valid visa. So that means that they can have a private visa. A private visa private invitation can be issued only by a Russian citizen, not a company. So we cannot help here. Or get a long-term visa. And here we're talking about, serious stuff like student visas, work visas. If you want to get a work visa, first you have to find a company which is willing to hire you, and this company will issue a work visa. I mean, it's really complicated to get a visa to win this quota.
It's a process.
Yeah. So that's why it's much easier. It's the procedure is straightforward for citizens from these unfriendly countries. I'm a fan of this decree. Finally, people can just, if they want to live here, if they want to raise their children here, develop their business, etc., just, okay, guys, get a visa, collect correctly all the documents with consulting, and apply and live here.
What is the 180 rule? 180 days.
Let's say you can get a tourist visa, and it's issued for 6 months. 70% of people think that you can spend here 6 months. No. It just actually mentioned in the visa itself, каждый 90-180. That means that you can spend here 90 days only. Even if you would get a visa, a short-term visa, such as tourist visa, right, or a business visa, hey, I have a business visa for 1 year. Well, okay, that's good, but you can spend here only 90 days within 6 months. So every 6 months, 90 days. US citizens, again, only citizens of the US, can get a tourist visa for 3 years. Yeah. And because we have a special agreement between Russia and the US, they can get this 3-year tourist visa and spend here 180 days. But not like 90 days, forget about 90 days, 180 days. Then they can just exit Russia, then come back and spend again the same period of time, same 180 days. Please note that with a tourist visa, you cannot get hired by a Russian company. You're not a resident. You're a tourist.
Coming to the end of this 15-minute interview, we see a lot of expats. We're in touch with them every day. They come to our office. What is the advice, lifestyle advice, you could give to expats in Moscow and in Russia?
I think that Moscow is one of the greatest cities in the world. Transportation, parks, everything. I'm a Muscovite, so St. Petersburg, Sochi, very nice cities, but my heart belongs to Moscow. And just check. Well, we have so many Telegram groups, channels. These are also our partners and really nice friends, and they have a certain topics, so you can meet each other. Like there are different expat communities here in Moscow, and I do believe in other cities as well. I advise to visit different cities because lots of families, they used to live outside of a big cities.
Moscow's very big.
Concrete. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, the whole population of the Netherlands, 17 million people, and Moscow is nearly the same. It's a big city. That's why you should just look around, right? Don't read news. I mean, about any certain city or something like this. Just have your own experience, because that will be something unique, especially if you've never been before to Russia. Come here, visit Russia. We'll be happy to accompany here, right, from the legal point of view, and you'll see that you actually want to live here. Really nice place.
Yes, follow yourself, follow what you want, and judge from your own experiences. Michael,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It
Thanks
was
a
an
lot.
absolute pleasure, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is really almost everything you need to know about relocating to Russia. Of course, there are more things, but this is like, dun dun dun, really straightforward. And this is the basic information. If you want to learn more, get a consultation with Michael. And if you want to learn even more, go to our chat, Live to Business in Russia. People ask their questions on a daily basis. We reply. And actually, you can search the question you're interested in, and it might have been already answered. So thanks again, Michael, and see you guys in the next video.